Welcome to Module 10, Exploring ADHD and Nutrition. Before we launch into the content, let's just take a deep breath in and breathe out. Another breath in and scan the body from head to toe. And then just check in with the mind. Just note what mind state you're in. Setting our intention to explore ADHD and nutrition. So what we eat and how that affects the symptoms of ADHD. So welcome to Module 10, Exploring Nutrition and ADHD. So before we start, let's take a reflection on last week. What did you take on and what results did you get? So take a moment to think about those and celebrate them. We do this every time because sometimes we just move on to the next thing and we don't take stock on where we're at. So the support group is about practicality, interactive, goal-orientated, and it's about celebration of life. So it's practical things that you can take into your life and reduce the symptoms of ADHD. So let's look at what we're going to discuss. We're going to look at the facts about nutrition and ADHD. We're going to look at how nutrition can benefit the body and the mind. We're going to look at meal planning and preparation. We're going to look at types of food that impact ADHD and how we can reduce the symptoms. And then we're going to look at what is the ideal ADHD diet. And then there's some invitation for you to do the work. So let's think about the facts about nutrition and ADHD. Now, to set the scene, what we eat can really affect our body and our mind. So it's something that is good to pay attention to. Let's look at the facts. So Dr. Robert Olividadia, clinical psychologist and clinical instructor at psychology at Harvard Medical School. So let's look at what he says. He has noticed that there's a high rate of obesity in the ADHD population, which is contrary to popular belief, as people think we're running around burning so much energy through the hyperactivity that we would burn all of that food energy off. However, research shows that many gastric bypass patients have ADHD and associated impulse control orders. That's the fact. So let's look at some more facts. So there is this element of not knowing when we're full, because it can take 20 minutes from the stomach being full to telling the brain that it's full. Hence why mindful eating is a very good practice, people with ADHD, is to slow it down. And then you realize you don't take more than you need. We're orientated externally, so it's all about outside rather than inside. We're not thinking of what's going on in the body. And if you think about it, we're moving from one thing to the next and we're grabbing food on the go, then we're not going to really have the time to digest the food. to eat healthily, it requires some of those executive functions. Planning through meal preparation and timing, healthy decisions on what to eat, and also how to cook it and when. This is something I can share from my life in terms of sticking to a recipe and following it bit by bit is a hard task to do, or was a hard task to do. Now I can see the benefits of slowing down and actually following the recipe and understanding the recipe. The first thing, are you cooking for 4? Are you cooking for 8? Work out what the ingredients and the amounts are for the people that you're cooking. That's the key thing. So there might be a little bit of working out what you need and getting those ingredients in. Addictive behaviors, yes, this is a fact that many people with ADHD also have addictive behaviors. So if we are addicted to certain foods, then we are going to follow out that pattern and keep eating and taking more than we need of those particular foods. Many people skip breakfast, and then the metabolism is at a low point, and that supports sugar cravings. And it's the sugar that really affects our mind. Chemical imbalances need to be addressed. So it's, our body is a chemical factory. It's what we put in is what we get out. We need to listen to what we need. So Laura Stevens is another one that studied this in depth for more than 25 years. And she says a healthy diet can provide an effective complementary approach to alleviating some symptoms of ADHD. However, taking an honest look at nutritional habits and figuring out what works best can be a confusing process. So we need to break it down step by step and just focus on one step at a time. So how can nutrition affect our body and our mind? Well, it's all about energy. Let's look at energy. When energy levels are balanced, the body and mind function better. And we can also align all the 7 chakras. Our emotions are connected with food intake. That's something we really need to get. So if we do feel that rejection of something within a relationship, we may go straight to the fridge. We may go straight to the chocolate. And it's the intention behind what we're doing. This is where mindfulness comes in as one of the mental factors to focus on, is intention, why we do what we do. It's the about to moment. So we can also know that nutrition can improve the memory and the concentration. It can also reduce those mood imbalances. And it can give us increased happiness with more dopamine and serotonin. So let's look at the analogy of the chemical factory, because I think this really does hit home to what we put in is what we get out. So it's a body budget and a mind budget. Body budget is in terms of looking at what food we're putting in. So we've got the lorries coming into the factory. They have vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, amino acids. They're all going in, entering in. Then there's this chemical combustion going on, and there's some waste products coming out. And then what exits is energy, muscles, chemical brain, so brains for the chemicals, and the nerve cells. So the nerve cells, that flight or fight syndrome, that is the threat system. So there's some things that we can do to calm that nerve system down. Some of the teas, like chamomile tea, tulsi tea for focus, has amazing benefits. So basically what you put in is what you get out. So if you evaluate your energy levels now, you evaluate how your muscles are, evaluate the chemical imbalances, then you can say, right, well, what do I need to put in to increase energy, reduce the amount of chemical imbalances, and this sort of threat system being under threat all the time. So 5 elements to my plate. We have grains, we have vegetables, we have fruits, we have dairy products, we have protein, plus we have the vitamins, supplements. Vitamin D, very, very important, helps our brain receptors. Obviously, vitamin D comes from sunshine. If we can get sunshine naturally, then go out and get as much sunshine as you can. But in some countries, we don't have that opportunity, so we take a supplement. Let's look at meal planning and preparation. So we need these executive functions for meal planning. When we break it down, it is about the time myopia. It's about making the time for these things. So let's break it down. Take a moment just to think about, how do you currently prepare and plan your meals? Is there any preparation? Do you just eat on the go? Do you miss meals? Just take stock of what's actually happening right now and just make a note of it. Just get present to what is. So currently, in terms of how I prepare the meals, is for the week. I have a little pad that's got magnet on the back. Stick it near the fridge, and that tells me what meals I'm going to have. And then it also has a shopping list by the side of it, so I can put down the bits that I need to shop for and shop smart. So when I go to the shop, I know exactly what we're getting. So there's no confusion there. That eliminates the confusion. And it's about discipline to stick to the list. So what can we do? Yeah, with meal planning, we can work out those meals. We can shop smart. We can do a fridge audit before we go shopping and a pantry audit and just see what we've got in already. So we're not duplicating what we have. We can use portion planners. So just cutting down the portion that we use. We can ensure that you've got kitchen essentials on hand. So spices, grains, sauces, just stock up those items so you're organized, so you're not missing something when you're working to a recipe, that you have those basics in place. Plan your meals in blocks. So you can say, okay, so we're going to have protein and we've got grains and we've got vegetables, elements in a block. So you're covering those elements that you want on your plate. Schedule a lazy day or a lazy night to make something easy, or ordering a takeaway. This is the best thing that I've put into my life, because Monday night is a pizza night. Not much to do, not much washing up to do, know exactly what to do, just put the pizza in and it's done. Take some stress out of your life. Cook fresh first. So through cooking fresh from fresh ingredients, it's obviously going to give you more of those nutritional elements. But you can have freezer food as a backup for those lazy days. So set aside the time to prepare, cook the food and have fun doing it. I cannot emphasize this enough. is that it takes time to cook. We want this instant gratification, that we can get something straight away. No, it doesn't work like that. We have to put the time in and have some fun doing it. One of the things that I've employed during the lockdown is I bought this map, this world map, and you can scratch off the different countries. So every week we have a different country and we do a recipe from that country. There's a creative idea from an ADHD brain to make it fun. So let's now look at the types of food that impact ADHD. So sugar, number one, sugar. Reduce the amount of sugar in your diet. Sugar dumping syndrome affects your mood. It will bring you up short term and it will drop you back down. It affects your mood balances. Avoid using sweeteners and high fructose corn syrup, aspartame, saccharin, sucrose, are all found in those fizzy drinks and Coca-Cola. Avoid white flour, white potatoes, sweets, or fizzy drinks. Get natural sugars from dates and other fruits, because dates can give you the vitamins too. The guide is less than 6 teaspoons of sugar a day. So if you're having tea in your sugar and you're having 6 cups of tea a day, 1 spoon, 2, that's it. That's your allowance. And just to give you an idea of the numbers, is that white potatoes, a jacket potato, there was a study done to look at how much sugar cubes are in a jacket potato. So a cube of sugar, it's equivalent to a teaspoon of sugar, and it was 17 for that jacket potato. 17. So really get present to that, because sometimes we have this perception, oh, a jacket potato is healthy, and there's a lot of sugar in it. So start to be aware of these things. Number 2, saturated fats. So avoid saturated, hydrogenated fats or trans fatty acids. They just clog up the arteries. I'm not going to say use oil. Really just research it yourself, because there's so much research on oils, what oils are good. There's avocado oil, there's olive oil. Just use the one, test it out for yourself. But some oils will increase the omega-3 acids. Saturated fat has a higher HDL cholesterol content, which can lead to heart attacks. So be aware of that. Some fats can lead to obesity. And as the doctor has identified that ADHD is linked to obesity, it's something to be aware of. Caffeine, number 3. So we all love coffee, maybe. Some of us might not, but we live in a coffee culture. Yeah, let's just have a coffee in the morning, wake us up. It is a drug and it is a stimulant. And it's not just in coffee, it's in tea, it's in chocolate, it's in soft drinks. So what it does is it raises the amount of specific chemicals in your brain. And one of them is dopamine. It can improve the alertness and concentration, there's no doubt about it. But too much of it can cause migraine headaches, insomnia, irritability, an upset stomach. So you've got to weigh it up, really, and think about when to maybe substitute caffeine for a decaffeinated coffee. It pretty much tastes the same. Drink plenty of water when you have caffeine drinks. But just invite you to actually research into caffeine and what it does to the body, so you can get present to that. Now, there might be some times when you think, actually, I've got a long drive, I need to stay awake, so I'm going to have a coffee. Just get present to that maybe it can give you that short-term high, but you need to take breaks when you're driving long distances. One of the my husband and I we ride motorbikes. We rode motorbikes to Montenegro, and we would stop for coffee. The caffeine did work to keep us focused, but you've got to really monitor the intake and allow the body to have the water to avoid dehydration too. So artificial foods, okay, so if you don't look natural, it's not natural. Okay, that's the basic rule with this. Have you ever seen a blue cake? It just doesn't really, it's not really kind of, if it looks too good, if it looks good, then it's probably dyed with artificial colours. So some of the ones to avoid the food dyes on the ADHD list are yellow 5, blue 1, red, green 3. So you need to start reading the labels, because sometimes we don't know if these food dyes are in them, because they're actually in cosmetics and toothpaste, like mouthwash as well. So start to read the label, start to monitor what's happening in the body when you're consuming these things. Test it out for yourself, because this can contribute to hyperactive symptoms. Vitamins, number 5. So some studies link ADHD with low levels of certain micronutrients. So that's include the iron, because we feel tired all the time, magnesium, zinc, vitamin B6, vitamin D. As we've mentioned, vitamin D is really important. It can be supplemented, or 15 minutes of sunshine is enough. If you're living in a sunny country, get out there, enjoy the sunshine. Omega-3s from fish oils, and also other supplements on probiotics. There's been a lot of research done on the gut and gut bacteria. So that's something that you could look into for weight loss and to keep that balance. Selenium, which is in the rice, and CBD oil, so extracting it from hemp, can calm the nervous system. And psychogenol is for concentration and focus. But again, when you're taking vitamins, it's a chemical, it's what you're putting in, this chemical reaction's happening. Sometimes we can actually take too much vitamins, so really start to get present to what's actually going on. This actually happened from my own experience, from when there was the craze of having B12 and B6. I had some of the shots, additional shots, and yeah, it worked short term. But then I had a blood test with the doctor, and he said, you've got too much B12 in your system. Stop taking it. So you can have too much. So it's all about getting this balance and finding the middle way. Take a moment now, ponder on these 5 areas. Just think about which one is causing an increase in symptoms, and then maybe that's one that you can focus on. So one thing at a time. So just to recap what those 5 are. Number 1 is the sugar. 2, saturated fats. 3, caffeine. 4, artificial foods. And 5, vitamins. So you could take one of those areas each week and just look at that. So now let's understand what foods aid the ADHD, so brain, the way that we work. Let's look at that. So number 1 is grains. Okay, so choose a variety. Avoid white rice, because that's bleached again. Dyes. It's not natural. The colour of rice is not white. So you could look at brown rice instead. You can look at brown bread and crackers, low sugar cereals, But again, with the low sugar cereals, be very careful on the labels, because even though it says 30% less sugar, 30% less of what? What was it before? You know, you really got to get this magnifying glass and look at these things. Brown rice, as we've said already, has that selenium in it. White whole grain pasta is another option. Lentils, excellent. Lentils, great for sleeping. Just got lots of nutrients in. You can have them with a salad. Fantastic. Popcorn, another one. Vegetables, the more the better, basically. Yeah, they provide lots of vitamins, and the raw better. So having them raw is going to be much more beneficial to you. They provide lots of vitamins, iron, calcium, and phytochemicals. Can be prepared as snacks. You know, we can just have some celery sticks, we can have carrots, we can have cucumber, organic if you can afford it. But if not, then just make sure that it's washed properly. Vegetable soups, don't overcook the veggies. That takes all the nutrients out. Third, it's the fruits. They say 3 to 4 portions a day. So that's like a small apple, banana, satsuma. Provides with minerals and vitamins again. Rainbow fruits are very good for helping with depression. So if you think about nice bright yellow colour, grapefruit, bananas, melons, lemons, all these things, very good for depression. Pineapple, another one. So avoid pure fruit juice. And I'll tell you why, there's been a lot of about juicing and this, you can just live off juices. Yes, you probably can. But again, if it's fruit juice in the juices, it's again a lot of sugar. It's too much sugar. So just be aware of that. 4, dairy. Okay, so 4 servings a day of dairy. It provides the protein, it's the vitamins, the B12, the calcium, important for our bones and our teeth. Yogurt, natural cheese. Avoid processed cheese. Soya beans, milk substitutes are plentiful now, so you can always have a substitute. 5, protein. So protein, 3 to 5 child-sized portions, low-fat meats. Stay clear of the red meats. They take a lot longer to digest. Poultry is good, chicken, fish, oily fishes. And then there's dry beans, kidneys, pinto, red beans. Have omega-3. And the eggs, or nut butters, walnuts and almonds. And remember with some nuts that they do have a high fat content as well. So everything in moderation. So take a moment now to ponder on these 5 foods and think about what you can do to change your diet to benefit your mind and body. So let's just give you a quick recap of those 5. So grains, number 1. 2, vegetables. 3, fruits. 4, dairy. 5, protein. So let's now look at what is the ideal ADHD diet. Well, this is something that you really need to find out for yourself, because everybody is different. Everyone has likes and dislikes. But the ideal diet, if you look at what is currently works, you know, there might be some things that you're doing that already work for you. So keep doing what's working. If there's things that are not working, then you can substitute them and play around with it. So the ideal diet, and this is a diet that that works for myself and family, is the Mediterranean diet. So it's really looking at some of those countries in the Middle East and Greek islands that have this blue zone. They've actually called the blue zone because they have a healthy diet, and it's been proved that what they eat improves longevity. One of the islands is called Icarus, and people are living into their hundreds because of they're growing their own food, and it's lots of olive oil. It's the Mediterranean diet and fish. You could eat raw vegetables as snacks. You can look at seeds and nuts. They provide a good energy source, so it's slow releasing, which is really good throughout the day and gives you some of those magnesium that we need. You can take supplements, try it out for yourself. Yogurt and milk products, natural cheeses, and drink water. Just avoid drink, with too much alcohol and coffee. The water content is under debate. So some people say we don't need to drink too much, and some say we don't drink. Well, it all depends on what else you're drinking, doesn't it? If you're drinking a lot of coffee and you're getting dehydrated, then you need to replenish the water. So studies actually show that those who drank water rated themselves as happier, their visual attention was on the up, and their visual memory was better. So that's studies that are done. So try a study on yourself. Other benefits include skin elasticity, replenishing daily water loss. That's because we're sweating and we're urinating, we're losing those fluids, so we have to replace them. It aids bodily functions as well, like digestion. So when we have the saliva in the mouth, that starts the digestion process, breaking down the enzymes. Also flexes the muscles and lubricates the joints and cleanses the toxins too. So here's the invitation to do the work. It's not about information. This is about applying it to our life, step by step, breaking it down. So what you can do this week is you could prepare some meal plans just for 1 week and just action them for 1 week. You could start to drink more water and notice the effects on the brain. Now, on the daily planner sheet that we've designed, it actually has a note for the water intake. So you could start monitoring that 1 week. Just take one thing at a time. You could attend a mindful eating class so you can get present to how we can slow the body down and just slow the eating down, and you get more joy and gratitude out of the food. You can research into gut bacteria and how that relates to the brain. You can reward yourself for each task that you accomplish and celebrate. Remember, we're here to enjoy ourselves. So take a moment and just to really get present to what you can focus on this week. And just do one thing. Don't have to do everything, just break it down. If you have any questions, please get in touch by email or book a discovery call in and we can have a chat about it. We do have a ADHD nutritionist part of the group, so we can get information from them and put you in touch. So just summarizing with this quote from Bernard Jensen, nutrition is the only remedy that can bring full recovery and can be used with any treatment. Remember, food is our best medicine. So why not use it? As with all of these modules, please give us some feedback if we can improve what we do and share with others. Maybe you found something that works for you and you want to share it, then share it on the forum and get in touch. Some of the resources that you can start to look at is useful video from Laura Stevens on nutrition and ADHD and eating right, the ADHD friendly diet, but there's also books on it as well, the ADHD cookbook, and there is also useful apps to explore. So Noom is one of them, mealtime plans, Plan to Eat, and Whisk can help with those mealtime planning. And also look for research studies done on CBD oil and ADHD so you can see for yourself.